Teddy Jacobson of Actions by T. I'm a pistol smith in Sugar Land, Texas. I work on over 100 different models of handguns. And I'm going to talk to you today about various guide rods because they represent your life and you're not aware of it. They are critical in your everyday carry gun. This is a Colt Series 80 pistol that most of the older generation do still carry. In this gun, the thing that was so good about it, that it was not only reliable, but it was easy to press check it. That's a term used by the older people to see if there's a shell in the chamber. When I say press check it, it means that you hold your index finger below the barrel, right here below the barrel, and you pull it back, and you can easily see if there's a bullet in the chamber. Now, if you were to use a full-length guide rod like this in here as a carry gun, you're playing with your life. This is fine at the range, but not in a carry gun. One of my customers used one of these guns, only it was a 10mm, and he had a full-length guide rod, so he could not press check it like this. He put his hand over the barrel to check to see if it was empty, but he had his finger on the trigger and it slipped, and he pulled the trigger and he blew half his hand off. Gone. The reason I'm telling you this is because I want you to know why I have designed a short guide rod. These buffers come in various colors that people use. They are junk. These are plastic. Some are nylon. When they break apart, they will get in between the rails of your gun and jam your gun. It will cost you your life. You can't use these. Not if you're serious about staying alive. Pointless. Now, this is a barrel from a 1911 pistol like this. And if you notice, there's an angle to the bottom lugs that appears on all government models. This being a government model means it's a 5-inch slide. It's a 5-inch barrel, 4 inches of rifling, but they call it a 5-inch barrel because they consider the chamber 1 inch. Now, these angled lugs have to be accounted for in a good guide rod. Most guide rods sold today for the 1911, nobody understands this. When we designed, I'm going to open up a package. You can see it says government model. Model 45 ACP 1911. Okay, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. This guide rod is slightly angled to conform to interface with the bottom lugs of this barrel. Otherwise, if it did not this guide rod would be set up at an angle, and your spring would start to buckle on you. It wouldn't be this spring, but the spring would start to buckle on you in no time at all. So therefore, I have made this angled slightly so that it will interface with the bottom lugs of your barrel. And the spring that we use is not a conventional spring like this. This is pure, just plain wire. See if you can see this here. This is just plain wire, music wire. This is chrome, silicon, and magnesium wire that's heat tempered and treated after it's wound. And this diameter in this hole is small. It only fits a thinner guide rod. And it works perfect in a 1911 government model. Put this down. Now, if you want to talk about the same applies to the Commander, only in the Commander model, there is no angle on the barrel bottom lugs. It's 90 degrees. So it does not have to be angled. So I have tried to cover every problem there is involved in this situation. And I have had it test fired countless times to ensure reliability in under every circumstance. This is the Commander. This is a 4 1/4 inch barrel. This is a 5 inch barrel. So the gun that this will fit in is 3/4 of an inch shorter, called the Commander. This is the government model in my hand. Now, I'm going to jump to another brand of gun so you will understand. Well, I'm trying not to confuse anybody. We're going to go to the Beretta 92. The 92 FS, it used to be the 92F, also known as the Beretta M9, which is the military version. It's a military designation. It's all one and the same. It is a 9mm, and the original guide rod, I'm going to show it to you. I have one here. See if we can get some light on this. It originally came with a pinned head. I don't know if you can see that, but you might. The head on all these original Beretta guide rods was pinned. I'm going to turn it around and you can see the pin goes through the other side. Now in the 9mm, this guide rod held up, but when they made the gun, the Beretta 92, they switched over and called it the Beretta 96, which was 40 caliber, the 40 S&W, and they sold it to the Border Patrol. I believe they sold them 20,000 units. This head sheared right off. It broke right off. And the Border Patrol had misery with this guide rod. They broke. Later on, they came out, and they came out with a fluted plastic guide rod, which is plastic. Will it hold up? in so many rounds it's going to get very chewed up at the head. It's all one-piece polymer. What I did was, I thought it was a much better idea to make a hardened tempered steel guide rod, all one piece, and have it plated, polished, plated for lubricity. It's like glass. This will not break. And this will fit the Beretta 92F and some of the 96 versions. I have them for both. But I'm always available to answer your questions should you have any. But this is a very, very well-made guide rod. You don't find stuff like this anywhere. You'll find stainless steel and you'll find carbon steel guide rods, but you don't know if they're heat treated, and you don't know to what Rockwell hardness. If you get a steel guide rod that is only 21 or 23 on the Rockwell C scale, it will not hold up. The head will break off in no time. It will get chewed up and it's gone. It will not work. This will work. This is like a tank. This is the Beretta. And the U.S. military, they do have problems, and I hope that they realize that this can solve most of their problems. This guide rod is super. And then I also want to, I don't know if these aftermarket Beretta guide rods that I've had made years and years ago were ever heat treated. All they are is cut down from stainless steel rods. There is no plating. They're nothing like this one. I'm going to switch over now to show you some Glock guide rods. Glock usually came out with captivated polymer or plastic guide rods. There's always been a hole in the front. Once you put the spring on, you could captivate the front either with a screw or some type of cap like that. But you can see the gouges that the spring makes in the polymer. This is not normal in a steel rod. You would never see this on one of my guide rods. Never. This is unreal. All of these polymer rods are just cheap. You can see how it's getting chewed up right there. Eventually this whole thing will crack off and fail, and it could cost somebody their life. These are all guide rods from a Glock, different models. What I did was, I made my Glock guide rods out of the same hardened steel, plated for lubricity, super hard steel, but not hard enough where it would break. You don't want to go too hard like a knife blade. Then you're in trouble. Then you're on the risk of it actually breaking. So I've done it to where I think it's in the area of 43 on the Rockwell C scale. And these are very, very well made guide rods. They're not captivated. So these are designed to be used either with our spring or you can use a wolf spring. Either one. Our springs that we've made are made out of chrome silicon and magnesium. And wolf springs are made out of either piano wire or something of that effect. And they'll both work. Our wire might last a lot longer though. But these are very well made, and we sell them at a very reasonable price. But should you have any question, you can always go to 3 W's and a dot, Actions by T, written as one word, .com, and email me or call me. All contact information is on my website, and I will answer your questions.